that leads us to the third Saturday in October. Tennessee takes on Alabama. And you know what? With me growing up, I was born in 2005. I missed the Peyton Manning days. I missed the Alabama days where they were irrelevant, where they weren't a good football team. I missed all that. I grew up in the Saban era. And guess what? Throughout my childhood, this game didn't really mean that much. Alabama won 15 straight. Rivalry game against Tennessee? You mean the team that we beat by 30 points every single year? That team? No, that's not a rivalry game, is it? Oh, but boy it is. That all changed in 2022 when Jalen Hyatt, when Hendon Hooker, when Josh Heupel led this team to a program-defining win against the Crimson Tide, 52-49. One of the best football games I've ever watched. That game was awesome. And that put Tennessee on the map, but it also put this football game on the map. Next year, Alabama did win it at home, and then Tennessee pulled it off again, scored 0 points in the first half, and won the game 24-17 on Rocky Top against the Crimson Tide. So, the Vols have had a lot of success against Alabama the last 3 years at home. What about on the road? What about in Bryant Denny Stadium? Alabama has not lost to Tennessee at home since 2003. That's before I was born. Before I was breathing the beautiful oxygen that God supplies to us. Before I even knew what Alabama football was. That's how long it's been since Tennessee has waltzed into Bryant Denny Stadium and won a football game. So can it happen this year? We'll see. We're going to break it down a little bit. So I believe in talking about the four groups of the football game, which is the visiting team's offense, the visiting team's defense, and the home team's offense and the home team's defense. So we're going to start with Tennessee's offense. If you know anything about Josh Heupel offense, you know that they play fast. Very similar to Ole Miss, very similar to what I just talked about. They like to run the ball early. That's what they want to do with Star Thomas and Deshaun Bishop. They spread you out just like Ole Miss did. They don't have a lot of people in the box, and so when you spread your receivers out to the hash, it makes it really easy to run the ball up the middle because the opposing team doesn't have their linebackers and their safeties and their corners in run-stopping position. So that's what Tennessee's trying to do against Alabama. It's what they've done all year. It's what they'll continue to do. They're going to try and run the ball up the middle in their spread formations, and then once they get their first downs, they want to go fast, and catch Alabama in man coverage so they can then throw their deep shots. So with this high-tempo Tennessee offensive attack, Alabama's linebackers and their defensive line are going to need to play really, really well. I think Tennessee's got really talented offensive linemen, but Bama is gap sound. They are big and they're strong. I mean, Tim Keenan, a lot of times in the Missouri game, it took 3 Missouri linemen to block Tim Keenan because he is that big, he's that strong. If you play him one-on-one, he's going to knock you on your butt and he's going to make plays. LT Overton. Basically, Missouri's game plan was outside zone. We're going to give it to Ahmad Hardy. Our offensive linemen are going to be more athletic than you, and we're going to get to the edge, we're going to outflank, and we're going to run outside zone. But LT Overton just simply said no. He simply would turn his hips, he would one-hand block an offensive lineman, and he would make plays. So it's going to be hard to run the ball against this Alabama team, especially up the middle. And Justin Jefferson has been playing great football. He's been playing awesome. I know Deontay Lawson's been bad, but he has really picked up the slack. So it's going to be hard for Tennessee to run the ball. But let's assume they do. Let's assume they find first downs. Alabama's been really good on third downs, but let's assume that Tennessee can convert and move the chains. If they do, they're going to go fast. They're going to try and catch Alabama in man coverage. And guess what? Alabama has not been very good in man coverage this year. Alabama's corners, to me, have been very disappointing. Damani Jackson has showed little to no effort out there in man coverage. He got dogged by certain Missouri receivers last week. He made this one play where it didn't even look like he was trying to make a tackle when the receiver was right in front of him. So if Tennessee can catch these Alabama corners in man coverage, that's when they're going to make plays. Braylon Staley makes plays in the short passing attack. Chris Brazzell is 6'5". He can go up and dunk on people. He did against Georgia. He can against Alabama. So that's what Tennessee wants. Can they get it? I'm not entirely sure. But another thing that really helps, Alabama loves to put Bray Hubbard. They love to move him up in Tampa 2 and just let him just hawk in the middle of the field. He sits down and he just reads plays. He just makes tackles. But That is not what's going to happen if Tennessee gets first downs, they move fast, and they catch Alabama man coverage, because Bray Hubbard's going to have to sit back and play a traditional safety role, where, in my opinion, he's not as good. I think Bray Hubbard is one of Alabama's best defensive players. If he's caught playing deep safety instead of being in the box, that's a win for Tennessee. It all comes down to me. Can Tennessee run the ball effectively enough to get first downs so they can get into their tempo offense? Because if they can, I think they can make plays against Alabama's man coverage, because I don't think it's very good. Let's flip it around. Hold on a second, just making sure I got my notes right. Also, Bama's secondary needs to tackle well. They didn't tackle great in some other games. If Bama's secondary struggles to tackle these Tennessee receivers and these Tennessee running backs, that's when explosive plays might happen. Let's look at Tennessee's defense versus Alabama's offense. I think this is a fascinating matchup. Basically, Tennessee goes into the year, they say, you know what? Our offense might be a question mark. Joey Aguilar might be a question mark. Our young receivers, we don't really know how good they're going to be, but our defense is going to be great. That's what they thought. They had two great corners on the outside. Jermon McCoy, a lot of people said he's going to be the best cornerback in the country. Ricky Gibson Jr. is a veteran. He knows how to guard. That's a tall, lengthy, good athletic dude out there on the outside. And they have a lot of athletic, strong guys in the middle of the field too. So they said, you know what? We're going to have a great front seven. We're going to have good corners. We're just going to squeeze you, and we're going to run man coverage, and we're going to win football games. And then the tragedy struck. And that tragedy was a torn ACL for Jermon McCoy, their best corner in the offseason. That tragedy was another injury to Ricky Gibson in week 1 against Syracuse. All of a sudden, you've lost your two man coverage corners, and all defensive strategies in the offseason have gone out the window. But you have a game against Georgia in a week. You can't just change up your whole defensive mindset in 1 week, right as you're going to play the Georgia Bulldogs. So they still ran a lot of man coverage against Georgia. And guess what? When you have young, untalented corners and you're trying to play man coverage against Colby Young and Zachariah Branch and that star-studded London Humphreys, they're going to make plays. And you're going to get cooked. And that's what happened. They gave up 44 points at home to Georgia because they were in man coverage. I believe that. And Josh Heupel saw that, and he said, all right, fine. We're not playing man coverage anymore. We're going to drop back. We're going to play zone. We're going to make you beat us methodically. It's going to be a win for us if you have an 11-play drive and you score a touchdown. That's what Josh Heupel's saying, and we've seen that a lot. They play a lot of drop-back zone coverage, and I love it for a couple of reasons. A, you're not letting teams get explosive plays. That is something they were really vulnerable against Tennessee. They haven't been since then. And B, because their front seven is good. Those guys are nasty. They have some dogs that are edge rushing and at linebacker. So if you're dropping back in zone, you're just waiting, and more plays is more chances for those guys to make plays. I'm talking sack fumbles. I'm talking big TFLs. I'm talking batted down passes led to interceptions. We've seen all of those things against Mississippi State and Arkansas. So I like what Tennessee's been going towards. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think they're improving. But if we look at this Alabama offense, it literally wants to do exactly what Tennessee wants it to do. And that is methodical drives. Alabama has not been explosive at all against Georgia and against Missouri, the two most talented teams they've played, in my opinion. Against Georgia, they had the one deep shot to Ryan Williams at the beginning of the game that was dropped. And then Georgia shored up their secondary, and Alabama didn't really throw down the field deep very often. Against Missouri, same thing. You caught him in man coverage once on 4th and 8, and you had a dime from Ty Simpson to Sierra Brooks. But other than that, Alabama has not been very good downfield, but they've been so methodical. We saw against Georgia 15-play drives. We saw against Missouri 11, 12-play touchdown drives where they're just going play after play after play, third down conversion after third down conversion. It's beautiful to watch. And a lot of that is credited to Ryan Grubb. Missouri plays a lot of cover 3, just like Tennessee's going to. Ryan Grubb just schemes up so many plays. Cover 3 is very vulnerable in the seams and the flats. And Ryan Grubb knows how to attack that. So I look at Tennessee's defense saying, we're going to make you play methodical. And I look at Alabama's offense, and I think they're going, You want us to play methodical? That's what we've been doing. That's how we've been winning football games. You're just gonna let us do it? Okay, sounds good. We'll run some some schemes where we can get flats open and seams open so we can just be methodical and win football games. Sure, we'll do that if you want us to. That's what we've been doing. So I think if Tennessee wants to win defensively, it's gonna be making big plays in the front seven. Because I don't think Ty's going to turn the ball over against this Tennessee secondary. So if you want to win this game, it's just the front seven making plays. And Alabama has got a heck of an offensive line. So I don't really see Tennessee stopping Alabama very much, if I'm being completely honest. But on the other hand, I don't know if I see Alabama consistently stopping Tennessee. So how's this game going to go? Well, in my opinion, Josh Heupel is one of the best offensive minds in the country. And he is so good at an offensive script going into the game, which means sort of the first 15 to 20 plays of a game, the first 3 drives kind of, are really sort of planned out by the offensive coordinator before the game. And Tennessee's great at that. We saw that against Arkansas. We saw it against Georgia especially. I think Tennessee's going to go out offensively and hit Alabama in the mouth and take a lead. I think they're going to look great. I think they're going to be leading at halftime. And I think Alabama's methodical drives are going to control this football game. I think Joey Aguilar is not an amazing quarterback. I think he's going to turn the ball over a couple times. I don't think that Tennessee's run game is going to be consistently good in the second half to put the game away. And I've got Alabama's methodical offense doing enough to win this football game. So give me the Crimson Tide to win their 4th straight game against a ranked SEC opponent. So I've got Bama. Will also has Alabama. So we're both rolling with the Tide this week. Honestly, I've been terrible at picking Alabama games this year. I picked them to beat Florida State. I picked them to lose to Georgia, to lose to Missouri, and now to win to Tennessee. So Alabama fans, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but I'm picking Alabama to win, and I've been wrong about them a lot. So I might be wrong. I have been good at picking Tennessee games, though. I haven't missed a Tennessee game yet. So that's a good sign. But give me the Tide to roll at home once again against the Tennessee Volunteers.